Good afternoon. This is going to be the watch list for the 25th. This is going to be a short week because the market is closed Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, the 28th, and Friday is closed at 1 p.m. EST, so it'll be half a day on Friday, the 29th. So we will have 3 full trading days and a half a day on Friday. So I do have the watch list. It's fairly big. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's big for a short week. So we'll just take notes, write down levels, and what we're looking for and stuff like that, and we'll see how the week goes. So I'll start with the bearish side first. Now I have not too much on the bearish side. Well, first one I have Target up first, but I'm going to cover Johnson & Johnson. I mean, Johnson & Johnson has just been on a tear. I mean, I think it's going to let some air out. I mean, it's overextended on the daily. Stochastic is oversold. I mean, it's got a lot of like resistance above 136. It does not like to go above it. So, I mean, I think it's going to come back. I mean, we'll take a look at the weekly. Like 3 years. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance right here on the weekly chart, right in the 139 area. So if it does manage to go up a little more into the 139, 140 area, I would definitely look for puts, because I don't think it's going to get over that. But in any case, we'll if it doesn't get to the 140, 139 area, we're going to look for it to go short. You know, I'd like to see under the 137.40 for a reversal, and looking for a target down to the 135.50 on J&J. I mean, the daily can really go down to 133.50 for the daily, but I mean, I'm not going to stretch it too much. I think 135.50 is a good area to retest from a breaking out of this ascending triangle right here. So yeah, under 137.50 I'll look for a short on Johnson & Johnson, but it doesn't make it up to this range up here. So that's what I'm looking for on that. And the other one I have, we'll go back to Target. Target, I mean, the earnings gap up was huge. I mean, it's consolidating up here. It's been 3 days since the earnings, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it starts to reverse. I would look for it under 126 to do a gap support, which is, if you watch my videos, you know what a gap support is. So yeah, under 126 for a gap support if it gets under 126. I don't anticipate it going up further. I mean, it can, but I'm not interested if it does. It's too far extended for my taste. I mean, it's at all-time highs. Yeah, see, it's at all-time highs. I think it's going to let some air out of that one too. Wow. Okay, so under 126 on Target. Next one is, I have DE on my list, but I mean, it's got a lot of resistance here on the hourly in the 175.50 range. I mean, it popped through and it came back and retested it. So I mean, if it gets under the 175 area again, or even down under the 174.55, I think it could definitely drop more. 174.50 would be underneath this daily candle, and then be looking for 172 for support, maybe even 170 for a deer. But deer is, you know, it's had this massive pop and it let some air out, so it's going to be pretty hard to see if it's going to fail or pop. So I mean, it did test the 20-day moving average on the hourly, and usually when it tests that, it usually pops over it. But I mean, I like it under the 174.50 area for a reversal if it does fail going up. So that's what I'm going to be looking at on deer. And I'm not too confident about this play. I mean, this play is really it's kind of like a flip of the coin right here, but I mean, it is into a lot of resistance in the hourly. But as you can see, the 14 SMA is starting to curl down, so if they cross over, it's gonna dump. So I mean, we'll see what happens on deer. Not too confident on it, but we definitely one to watch. ANTM, the insurance, all the insurance tickers, you know, the CI, UNH, and HUM insurance it's been on a tear, and I would like to see it pull back. I mean, it's 300 is a big psychological number, and it rejected it, a harsh rejection. So I mean, I would be looking at the short ANTM under 290, and if it gets under 290, I'd be looking for 280. 280 range would be a good support. So that's my feeling on ANTM. Insurance has just been, it's gone straight up. It's got to at least come back here and test the middle of the Keltner channel, which is the 20 moving average. So I think it needs to come back and test that. And usually when they go on a straight up tear, they're going to come back and at least test it at least once, and I think it's going to do that. So we'll watch all the insurance sites, which again is ANTM, CI, UNH, and HUM. Next one I have is VRTX. VRTX is another one just gone straight up. It could keep going up. We'll take a look at the weekly. Yeah, it's at, look at these big green candles here. And every time it has big green candles on the weekly, it kind of gets rejected shortly after. Look at right here. Went sideways and done dumped. So, I think you should definitely keep an eye on this for, I don't know, probably under the 215. I think I'd be interested. Get under these hourly candles and see how it reacts down in here. So under the 215, I'd be looking for, probably 207 area. Let's see what it is on the hourly. Yeah, 207 area would be an area to look at if it fails under the 215, the 207 on VRTX. Now, I've traded VRTX before, and if I remember correctly, it's got pretty big spreads on the options. So if you do happen to grab it, make sure you use a limit order and go in the midpoint. Which, if you don't know what the midpoint is, it's between the bid and the ask. So if the bid is 50 cents and the ask is $1, you want to put your limit order in for right around 65 cents, 70 cents, 75 cents, right in that area. And I like to go more towards the bid, lower end of the spectrum, and walk it up. So if I can't get filled at 60 cents, I'll try 65. If I can't get filled at 65, I'll try 70. I'll walk it up to midpoint. So that's how I do it on the spreads. And I don't like choosing stocks that have the spreads, because sometimes the people that don't know what they're doing, they end up marketing in and they're already down quite a bit. So don't do that. BA is on my bearish list. And as you can see, BA is in the 375 area. It tapped it once and it came close on Friday, and it's get a lot of heavy resistance in this area, and every time it does, it seems to fail. So I am going to be looking for a short side on BA under the 268. Yeah, under 268. And I guess you could say there's a head and shoulders here on the hourly. There's a left shoulder, there's the head, and there's the right shoulder. So I would be looking for a pullback on BA. If it does happen to break out, I'm probably not going to touch it, because who knows, bad news could come out at any time and BA could just kill your position. So I'm only looking for this on the short side. If it pops, I don't care. Whatever, let it happen. GS, Goldman Sachs. Right here you can see Goldman Sachs 1, 2, triple top right here in the daily, and it's consolidating right here. I would be looking for this from the short side. It can break out, but I'm not interested if it does. You can if you want to, but I'm not. You can see a lot of weekly resistance right here in the 220 area, so that is why I'm looking at it on the short bias side. So under, let's see, I would say under the 219.50 area, make it a nice little round number. Yeah, under this area right here, I'd be looking for a short. Would probably 216.50, yeah, 216.50 area for support. And if that happens to fail, it could go down to the 214, close this gap down here that's been open for a few weeks. So that is the short side. There's not too much on the short side of the my watch list. Now I have my bullish side. Home Depot is going to be one I'm going to be watching quite a bit, and Home Depot has just been getting thrashed on since the earnings. So the The weekly. Let's look at the weekly. And yeah, I mean, it's coming down here, touching the close to the 30 SMA, and it's got some support right here. So I mean, if it bounces, it could bounce right here. We'll keep a close eye on it. I mean, it's got, you know, 3 black crows, and usually we have a dead cat bounce when we have that kind of a setup. So I mean, it's just gone straight down. I mean, I would look for it over the 219. No, the 219.50 area, and for calls, and you know, looking for 222. And if that can break, we'll look for a gap fill up to the 226 area. So I'll be watching Home Depot for a reversal. I think that's going to be one that's something we should watch the most this week. Is Home Depot is, I mean, it's a good stock. I mean, I think that it's going to reverse. So it could go down more, but if it does, I mean, 215, 216 area, we get the 213 area. So I mean, it's got some gaps down here in the daily. 209. I mean, it could go down to the 210 area and fill the gap. I mean, it can possibly do that, but this is definitely a high watch for a reversal. Home Depot. And Tesla, we have Tesla. We all know about the news on Tesla and its Cybertruck or whatever. I'm not quite sure how the market's going to react to that. I mean, everyone's bullish about it, but to me, $100 secures your order, and it's refundable. So I mean, it's trendy. Everyone could be going around just dropping $100, telling all their friends, I ordered the new Tesla truck, to be all bragging rights or whatever, and never have any intentions of buying it. So we'll see how the market, what its take is on this Tesla truck and all these orders. I mean, yeah, $100 and 146 orders. I mean, it's 146,000 orders is like $14.5 million in revenue. I mean, I understand that's some revenue, but they're not secure orders. Are refundable. I mean, a lot of people could refund. A lot of people couldn't get financing. A lot of people have no intentions. Who knows what will happen? We'll have to watch this to see how the market reacts to it. So, I mean, it is, you know, in a bearish flag right here. But if the market likes this, I mean, it could easily go up and retest the 360. So, Tesla is going to be all based on how the market likes the news on the Tesla truck. So, we'll watch that. Disney's definitely one to watch. I mean, it's got an ascending triangle right here on the hourly, flat topping at the 149.50. I haven't seen what the weekend numbers are for Frozen, but on Friday it was like $50 million on opening day. So I would imagine that Disney's probably going to do pretty well tomorrow, and if it just pops tomorrow right at open, and I probably would not chase it. Disney has a habit of, you know, popping and dropping, so I would wait and dip by that if it does drop. So I'd be very cautious about chasing any opening Disney. Wait for a good pullback before you jump in. But I'm expecting Disney to pop and go over the 150. So Disney's going to be a big watch for tomorrow too with Home Depot, and we have BABA, which will all be deciding on what happens with the China trade war and stuff like that. I know some news came out about China talking about harsher laws for intellectual property and stuff like that. So we'll see how the market reacts to it. But it's in a channel right now. I mean, it could easily break out of this. I mean, it's a bull flag on the daily if you want to look at it like that. So if it does happen to get over this like 187 area or even 188, I mean, it's got some room to pop. Well, let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Yeah, we can get over the 188. I mean, we could definitely get back up into the 195 area if it breaks out. Assuming nothing bad happens with the China trade war or Trump or Hong Kong or anything like that. So BABA could break out. So I'd be watching that one too. Now I have Shaq. I know Shaq has been one we've been watching on and off for the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's just continuing just to get hammered, and I think that it's definitely due for a reversal. Let's see. On the weekly, yeah, I mean, look at it. It's right down here in just $58 range. Yeah. If it does happen to get lower down to 57.51 on the weekly, it'd be a good area to buy. But I'll be watching it over. You can bring it daily. I'll be watching it over the $60 range, and it's going to have some resistance in the 61.50 area. So I'd watch that. If it does get over 60, I'd be watching the 61.50, 62, then 64. If it can get over to 64, I mean, it could take off and test the 68. It doesn't going to have enough muster to go and fill the gap. It's going to have to, if it does have enough strength, it'll probably go to 68 and pull back and retest the 64, then make a run for it. It's not going to go straight up. So that's my take on that. I mean, if it can get over the 64, I mean, it's definitely going to go into the $68, $70 range. So for a gap resistance test. So what else do we have? I have Amazon. I know that I don't like alerting Amazon because the premiums are so high and the spread's so nasty, but the daily is starting to shape up on let me back it out just a little bit. Let's go to 150. Oh yeah, I didn't even need to go out that far, I don't think. Yeah. See, on Amazon, what I'm looking at is inverted head and shoulders. Here's the left, the head, and a potential another right shoulder right here. So I mean, Amazon could take off. So we'll see how it acts. I mean, if it gets over the 148 range to the 150 area, that's actually, let's say right here, the 148. We get over that range. I mean, we'll look to retest the 1760 area, then the 1770, then the 1785. So I mean, Amazon is definitely due for a pop. I would watch that inverse head and shoulders on that on the daily. We got Lululemon. Now I know Lululemon is on a tear. I mean, it keeps going up and up, and it's such a strong stock, and it's kind of like doing like a little funnel, a bull flag funnel right here. So I would like to see it, break out more, but I think it's kind of overextended. I hope I didn't mean to put this on my bearish list, but yeah, if I won't chase over the 220 area, I mean, I'd like to see a pullback on it. If it does pull back, I mean, I'd like to see it pull back down to the 215. If it does pull back to that area, I mean, I could be looking for a bounce play. But we'll have to see with Lululemon. I mean, it's just been so strong, but it's so overextended. I think that I shouldn't even have this on my list. But I mean, I would not chase it over 220. I'll wait for a pullback, and we'll look at it if it does pull back. One we've been playing a lot is McDonald's, and I know that McDonald's on a daily, I mean, it's kind of looking a little bearish, but I think that we could see a pop out of it soon. And if we can get over the 195, get over that 195 area right here, I think that we can get up to the $200 range again. So I'd be looking at McDonald's over 295. I mean, you can even get it, if it gets over the 195. If it even gets over the 194, I'd even look at it. So McDonald's over 194 for a 200 retest on McDonald's. I'd be looking for that. Roku. Now I know Roku is wedging. It's going to symmetrical triangle right here. I mean, I don't really like symmetrical triangles because it's a 50-50. I mean, I know it's an uptrend. It can go up, but it also can knife too. Symmetrical triangles are really a 50-50 play. And I don't really like them that much, but it's right there. I mean, if it gets over 160, it can pop, and it will retest this 166 area. And on the daily, I mean, it's a bull flag right here. But I don't know. I mean, I I think that if it does get over the 160 area, I mean, we could retest 170 really fast. So I'd be watching it for the long side on Roku. So I'd just be very cautious about it and play it small in case it does knife. Last one I have is Wayfair. Now Wayfair has just been down here in a small little narrow channel on the hourly. I mean, it gets over this $86 range. We'll be looking for possibly a gap fill. I mean, it could retest this 88 and have a hard time and consolidate. But I mean, if it gets over the 86 and gets to the 88 and it consolidates, it's going to go for a gap fill. But it could also reject at the 88. So I would be cautious. The ideal area to grab would be 81. So if you want to put like an alert to like go small at 86 and scalp it for a couple dollars, and put an alert down here for 81. So if it does get down in this range again, to grab calls for it. So I would definitely, in this nice little channel, I think it's going to pop. It's due to pop. So we'll watch Wayfair 2 this week at the $86 range. So that's going to do it for the watch list for the week. A lot of it is, I know it's a short week, like I said in the beginning, but we'll play it small, play it conservative, and we'll scalp if we need to. I don't like scalping, but it's been a scalper's market lately because everything's been so range bound. So if you're not in the room, the link is in the description or at my bio, and make sure that you come check out the room. It's free to join, but if you want the alerts, the alerts aren't free. You have to sub for that, and that's cheap too. So that's it for this watch list. Enjoy the week. Hopefully this week will be a nice volatile week, and we'll see you later. Thank you.